Joining me now is Julie-Ann Finney, the veteran who's a Veterans Affairs advocate, whose own son as well. In fact, no, I believe we've got a little bit of an issue with Julie-Ann Finney. I'll just wait to see if she... I think I can see her. I'm going to risk it, Julie-Ann Finney. I hope you are there. I'm just explaining to our viewers, you're, of course, a Veterans Affairs advocate after your own son, Dave, took his own life after he was discharged from the military. What have you made of today's announcement?
Okay, so I've been very overwhelmed and have just been on the phone all day, so it will be in the detail. So I'm incredibly grateful for what's happening, and I want to have a look at it, but I need to make sure that there isn't anything that we're missing by taking this course. Certainly the ultimate outcome is for veteran wellbeing, and I understand that with the course we're taking, it won't be looking back, it will be looking forward and looking at issues that arise. But I just want to make sure that we're looking at all the right places. So I know that like the ADF and DVA will be now compelled to give evidence and tell the truth in cases that happen going forward. But, you know, there's still the matter of some ESOs, that are ex-service organisations, that need looking at. So the devil will be in the detail. So while I'm grateful, I'm not quite sure that we're there yet. We may be, but I do have to look at the detail. Veteran wellbeing is the most important thing in this.
All right, well, it sounds as though you'll be carefully reading over it, I'm sure, of course, but you were calling for a Royal Commission, for those viewers that weren't aware, and you were doing this before the Christmas holidays. This is described as having the ongoing powers of a Royal Commission, looking forward, someone that can be making findings independently, powers to give evidence, as you said, and also looking back over past cases as well. That does sound like a lot of what you're after.
It does, it really does. And so, yeah, just looking in the detail. I got a call from the Prime Minister last night, and from that point on, I've just been overwhelmed. You know, I just want to say to all the parents out there who have lost someone, you know, your child matters, and hopefully, you know, your children will have made a difference going forward. So let's see how this pans out.
You were quoted this morning in the newspaper you were going to go to the cemetery and visit your son's grave and just tell him about this, tell him that you were so pleased with this outcome.
So I did a late night trip to the cemetery last night. I told my son that he matters and that I'm incredibly proud of him. I'm so proud to be his mother and that he matters. And I know that I'm not the only mother feeling that way, but I needed to tell him. I needed to tell him that he matters. And I'm just so very proud of him, and I love him. And yeah, so I went and did it.
I'm sure he'd be proud of you as well, Julie-Ann, in such a difficult time to go and fight this battle and put all this energy into it. Have you spoken to some of the other parents as well about their thoughts on this? This real, I guess as well, when you were a bit concerned about whether or not the government was going to go through on something like this?
Absolutely. I've spoken to one other mother this morning, and she's also wants to see the detail where we're telling each other our children mattered, but we know we can't get them back, and we really care that this detail follows through on everything that needs to be investigated for veteran wellbeing. And I don't just mean keeping them alive. We're not just trying to stop suicides, but they have to live. You know, we're extremely grateful for their service, and yeah, we want a difference to be made in their lives, that's for sure.
Speaking to people who get involved in the system, that's one of the big issues, that the bureaucracy can be unending, that they're told to get different bits of proof from different doctors. It might involve a long drive because one type of doctor isn't in a small country town. Tell us about just how much you can seem to be caught up in the web of the bureaucracy within Veterans Affairs.
My goodness, I wish that I could help people that are stuck in it at the moment, and I guess that's one of my worries at the moment. Is this another step in looking after our veterans? Are we going to keep all the steps we've got and then have another step? Because, you know, I sat in the inquiry of Jessie Bird yesterday, and I, you know, I don't want to talk about that case. It's ongoing. There's no outcome yet, but Yeah, the paperwork, the forms, and just the understanding of the way emails are written. You know, your average veteran really doesn't have a hope, and so yeah, that's one of the big things that needs changing. But it's not the only thing. We must remember that it's not all about healthcare. It's not all about this is an injury, not mental health issue. And we must remember that we're not just, you know, putting the mental health issues at the end. We've got to look at the core of the problem and why these men and women are ending up like they are. And so I just want to ensure that that's happening as well, that we're looking at the very core of the problem and what we could be doing at the beginning, not madly trying to get a psychiatrist on board when it's too late. Mm-mm.
And that issue that you alluded to, I mean, there is often, and speaking to people in this area, a lot of support during service, at least seemingly. Afterwards, it can seem like there's almost a radio silence. It's out there, and we know that there is money put in, a lot of money put in by the Australian government, and a lot of services,
yep.
But it's reaching them, right?
Yes, that's right. And please don't mistake my gratitude. But, you know, when you're serving in the ADF, if you have an issue, be that physical or mental or, you know, a traumatic stress injury, the serving members are quite often fearful of speaking up, and so the issue gets worse rather than better because, you know, your career can really be over. And I'm not saying that the ADF isn't a good career. My son loved his career, and I've tried to say that over and over. But the issues need to start there. They need to start in the ADF, what we're looking at, and then work through from recruitment right through life. Mm.
Well, that news conference is about to start with the Prime Minister as well as the Minister, we believe. So we'll let you go and be able to listen into that as well as pore over the detail of this, Julie-Ann Finney. But really appreciate your time today. I hope you do turn out to be happy with the result that comes of this, and best of luck as well as you still go through what no doubt will be some painful times ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much.